Short-circuiting sea level rise with energy systems that pay for themselves with the power they generate. Global warming is mostly going into the ocean, mostly in the upper 750 meters, mostly in the tropics. One impact of surface tropical heat is a cyclone. They are the main driver of tropical heat towards the poles where it melts ice caps. Another consequence of ocean heat is thermal expansion. In the short term, there are three factors of roughly equal importance that contribute to sea level rise: thermal expansion, ice cap melting, and aquifer pumping. In the long run, however, as in the next 1,000 years, by far the greatest contributor to sea level rise will be ice cap melting. Kenneth Miller, professor of Earth and Planetary Sciences at Rutgers University, pointed out in a 2012 paper published in the journal Geology, the natural state of the Earth with present carbon dioxide levels is one with sea levels about 20 meters higher than at present. A rise of only half a meter by 2070 puts as much as $303 billion worth of Vancouver assets at risk. From March 2010 to March 2011, sea levels declined by 5 millimeters. The reason was heavier than normal rainfall in Australia and the Amazon. As a result of global warming, parts of the world are destined to get wetter while others get drier. As can be seen from this forecast, BC gets wetter as the U.S. Southwest dries out. To try to compensate for the water they are losing, the drying regions are pumping aquifers dry and compounding the sea level problem. BC could alleviate the situation by damming up the excess it is expected to receive and diverting part of it south. Between 60 and 80,000 megawatts of hydropower, or 5 to 7 times the current output of BC Hydro, could be produced. The second law of thermodynamics dictates that heat flows from a hot source to a cold sink and can produce work in the transmission. The poles are far colder than the tropics. Heat therefore migrates from the tropics towards the poles, assisted by tropical storms. The deep seas are another heat sink, which is currently underutilized. James Hansen has pointed out the rate of ocean heat uptake determines the planetary energy imbalance, which is the most fundamental single measure of the state of the Earth's climate. Short-circuiting heat movement towards the poles by diverting it into the deep ocean would reduce the long-term risk posed by ice cap melting. It would also mitigate thermal expansion because the coefficient of expansion of seawater is reduced in deeper water. Using heat pipes to produce ocean energy, the potential exists to replace all fossil fuels and to profit handsomely from mitigating the sea level problem. On being asked in the journal Nature, is climate change going to be less extreme than they previously thought, James Lovelock responded, "We were all so taken in by the perfect correlation between temperatures and CO2 in the ice core analysis. From the ice sheets of Greenland and Antarctica studied since the 1980s, you could draw a straight line relating temperatures and CO2, and it was such a temptation for everyone to say, well, with CO2 rising, we can say in such and such a year it will be this hot. It was a mistake we all made. We shouldn't have forgotten that the system has a lot of inertia and we're not going to shift it very quickly. The thing we've all forgotten is the heat storage of the ocean. It's 1,000 times greater in the atmosphere and the surface. You can't change that very rapidly. You can, though, move surface heat very rapidly to the benign deep ocean heat sink with a heat pipe. The community that undertakes to do this can profit handsomely as it mitigates storm surge, ice cap melting, and thermal expansion. The ocean's mass allows for the absorption of a great deal of heat to limited effect, particularly below the thermocline. British Columbia has the intellectual resources, the mining, energy, and shipbuilding expertise, plus the resources necessary to garner a significant share of the multi-trillion-dollar per year clean energy market. By effectively addressing sea level rise and climate change, the province safeguards and preserves its forest, fishing, and tourism legacies, and with a viable fossil fuel alternative can counter the influences pressing for the movement of coal and bitumen through our territory and along our coast.